Hello, we are Project Communication, and we are perfectly imperfect.
I'm Linda.
I'm Sherry.
And I'm Mary.
And today, we are going to talk about how we survived our children's childhood as parents. So it's one thing to survive our own, but then we had to survive our children's too.
Yes.
So anyway, Linda.
Am I going first?
Sure.
Okay. Well, my youngest son, I always say if he was the first, there would never have been a second. And I say that to him all the time. Okay, so I love this child. But we had 4 ER visits before he was three years old. He was a monkey. He knew how to pull the drawer stacks in the kitchen. He pulled them out. Now he's about 2.5 years old at this time. He pulls them out, climbs up onto the counter, and manages to open up the cupboard door and take out the medication.
Ooh.
Into the ER we go. My goodness. Yeah. We lost him about 5 times.
Did you?
And I'm going to say I did not lose him.
Your husband lost him?
No.
Oh.
The kid would see things and just take off. And one day I had, in one of our rentals, it was an old screen door, so I had this little, those little S hooks, and I had hooked it way up here so he couldn't get out.
He thought.
He took the chair over.
Oh, yes.
Climbed up onto the chair, and he was out the door. Now, I don't know why mothers are not supposed to be using the bathroom.
Heaven forbid.
Heaven forbid. I come out, and the kid is gone. I mean, gone. And it is not a big place, so it wasn't many places for him to hide. I go out into the yard, and there is a lady down the street holding him. I knew somebody would come looking for him.
Thank you.
And we were in the grocery stores. And he would just take off, and we couldn't find him, and he's hiding underneath this, and he's hiding underneath that. And we hid so well, we had to have the doors locked to the grocery store. And then they said, well, keep him in the cart.
Sure.
I really wanted to put a harness on him. But I was told by the social services then that was abuse. Losing a child is abuse.
Yes.
I mean, by today's standards, we could have been turned in.
Wow.
But they do have those.
Now.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it doesn't look nice to have your child on a leash, but it's better than flattened by a truck.
Yeah. Or sucked up in one of those big hoses to pick up the leaves.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, he saw, he did. And I'm always keeping my eyes on him because I never knew where he was going to be. And you'd still lose him. No, I did not lose him.
He lost himself.
Yeah.
That sounds like
my
middle
oldest
child.
son, he was really calm and mild up until he hit junior high. And then we call those the black years. So when we had moved over here, we had bought a car. No. Okay, let me step back. Phil is back to Phil again. He was back in about a junior in high school, and he took our car that we had just purchased that day.
That day.
That day.
Wow.
He liked it?
Well, he needed to go out, so take the car.
Of course.
The following morning, we get in the car, and the steering wheel, the wheels would hardly move. No. And so we take it back to the shop and say, yeah, we bought this car yesterday, but today the wheels are like, oh, let's put it up on the hoist. Okay, great. They come out and they had a smirk on their face. And they said, do you have children?
Drivers, yeah. Teenage drivers.
He said, were you driving through a field last night? I guess they took out almost a hay bale full of grass and weeds out from underneath the front tires.
Oh my.
Okay. And we have a big yard, and we live kind of out, well, we do live out in the country. So we thought it'd be best to have, if the kids want to have bonfires, they can have it out at our place, because we live on a dead-end road, not a lot of neighbors then. They had a bonfire that it literally lit up the entire house inside. It was so bright.
It was glowing.
It was glowing.
I can relate. My kids had a couple of those.
Oh, so the question is what did we learn? What did I learn?
Oh, not what did they learn, but what did
I learn? I learned that I have a lot of resilience. Yeah. So, there's a lot more I could be telling, but I won't tell them about the time that they took his older brother's ID and went down to the bar and bought beer and brought it back for the party. I won't tell you about that.
Okay, go ahead. It's my turn. Yeah. Well, I thought I knew everything about children, being, someone that worked in preschool and childcare, daycare. And I guess I did pretty good. But they did throw me for a loop quite a few times. My first child was pretty mellow. But he could run away. He had a habit of running away. So that was...
I can relate.
Yes. And my middle child came along, and the two of them, my older one just thought everything the younger one did was absolutely hilarious. I did not. We'd be at a store, because people used to take their kids in stores. I don't know. And it'd be like, where are they? Where are they? They're giggling. And we have these racks of clothes. And one time I found Trevor... Oh, sorry, I gave his name. In a round rack of women's lingerie. He's like, here I am. He's got this bra on his head. Ladies, I'm like, oh, for the love of God. So I often went through the stores looking underneath, because I was looking for feet, Yeah. So, yeah, kind of crazy. But anyway, I think one of the hard things about being a parent is listening to other people's advice. Or my child wouldn't do that. I'm like, yeah, they did. You just didn't know about it. But anyway, so I'm feeling guilty. What else do I have here? We have 3 children. Bethany is our youngest. I think out of the 3 of our children, we had 2 that were difficult and 1 that was, I would consider, normal. Sorry, you 2. You know who you are. But the advice that they give for, if your kids are acting up in a store, just leave. I was too stubborn to do that, because I take like 2 hours to find my groceries. The heck if I'm going to leave it there and drag my kids out of the store. So, call their dad or call whoever, But I think what was really difficult is as they got older, being teenagers. You talk about the bonfires. Well, I remember looking out the window on we have a silo. We don't have a working farm, but we bought a farm. The whole silo was orange. I'm like, holy cow. And they're burning everything they can find. Old toys, a couch somebody brought. I'm like, what do we do? They'd come and they'd unload this couch. This is for the barn. I'm like, you guys aren't moving into the barn, or they just burn stuff. It was crazy. And
You do know that was illegal, right?
Oh yeah, probably. They just burn whatever. I know a lot of people in the country do it, but I also remember one time with my oldest son. So let's throw him under the bus a little. We were gone somewhere. He called us. He said, "Do you care if I have a few friends over?" I said, "Okay, well, behave, and you know the rules, and just And we get home, and his few friends. We have a long driveway. They were parked all along the driveway, in our yard, and
On the road.
not on the road, because we were off the road, and all I could hear was Tom Petty blaring from the barn and echoing across. Oh my God, I'm walking down the road hoping that our neighbors can't hear it. I'm trying to see if I can hear this noise, I go in there and they were doing things they probably shouldn't have been doing. I said, nobody's leaving. And somebody tried to argue with me. I said, nobody's leaving here, or I will call all of your parents. Anyway, so I said, in what world is this a few kids?
Well, you invite two and they invite four.
Yeah. But I'm glad they had a good time. Yeah. They were pretty safe and all of that. That was one of our instances. And I also remember Bethany, we adopted her. And so she's been in touch with her biological family. Okay. Yeah. And when we first... I remember when she was pretty young, she wanted these Ugg boots. And I said, they're so expensive, and I don't think we need that. Blah, blah, blah. We were talking it over, and usually our kids got what they really wanted for Christmas. Well, she came up with this. I'll just ask my real family for them. And I was like, oh, no. So I got on that phone and I said, I respect you. I said, but under no circumstances are you allowed to buy those for her. And if you do, I will sell them and buy myself something. I was just, and she was just, just so mad. Oh my gosh! But I don't know how I got through all of it. There's a lot more stories, but they really are my greatest pride and joy.
And you did survive.
I did survive. I guess kids have to grow up making choices and suffer the consequences, and they have to get in trouble, and they have to take risks, and we can't control everything they do, no matter how much the powers that be say that we're in control. Yeah. I don't think anyone's in control of teenagers.
No, if you think you are, you're in denial.
Yeah. So, because some super strict parents, the kids will lie and they rebel, but we tried to always have a pretty open communication, and we survived. What more can I say? If I think of something else, I'll butt in and interrupt Mary.
Well, I like Linda and Sherry, I have two boys, and I don't have a daughter, but I have the two boys, and when they were they're about 4 years apart, and when they were each two, my mom, when the youngest one got to be about 2, my mom told me, she said, you can save a lot of money on photo processing. This was back in the old days.
Yes.
When you had to pay for
go to Penny's.
When you go to Penny's or when you go to the Walgreens and get your film processed, and you had to pay for your pictures.
That didn't always turn out.
Right? Didn't always turn out. Yeah, you didn't know about it for a week or two. Because they looked so much alike at that age. Mm-hmm. They were not at all alike in their personalities. They were very, very different personalities. If anything, if children learn the word that they heard the most often, my oldest son's first word would have been careful. Because he climbed everything, everywhere.
That
the
was
couch,
my
the
middle one.
tables, everything. He was a little daredevil, and he didn't climb the drawers.
Did he climb out of his crib?
Eventually, yeah. He didn't. He wasn't a big climber then. But if it had rungs or could climb the cushions, yeah, he did. But it was even just like taking his first steps and things like careful, and
You were a helicopter parent.
I wasn't quite. I mean, it was sometimes from across the room. Just careful, careful.
They scare you.
Just like, oh, okay, here we go. But he never said the word. He, was like, okay, yeah, I'll be careful, but I'm going to do, but the other thing is, I would always, also, if he was going to a friend's house or, going to play school or whatever, now behave. I'm being haved. Which is like, okay. Cute. I was like, all right. So I don't know if he was thinking I'm full of care, whatever, but he never did say careful. But, Linda, you mentioned something about what you learn from your kids too. And one of the things that I learned, especially from my oldest son, is the name of every single dinosaur that ever walked the earth.
Yes.
I learned so many things especially from him. The other thing I learned is the art of negotiation.
Oh,
yeah.
My gosh. And I learned it from my oldest son when I was helping him make his bed one day. And we had done laundry, and I was helping him put the sheets on the bed and make his bed. And I said, now this is how we do it. And we fold this back and we put the pillow, and then we put the bed sheet over, or the bed spread over. And he said, well, I like to do it this way. And just right here, and he showed me how. And I said, well, when I'm helping you make your bed, this is how I like to do it. And he, without even a moment's hesitation, he said, well, if I'm helping you make your bed, do we do it my way? And I knew in an instant that he had me. Yeah. It was like the logic that came out of, and he maybe was 5 or 6, and I thought, you're right. We'll do it your way. It's your bed. And I thought, doggone it. I'm raising a very smart kid. I'm in real trouble. So, okay, I'm going to have to pick my battles with this one.
Yeah.
So I learned I have to be really careful.
Yeah.
But like both of you, I also had one that would hide at the store.
Oh.
And I'd forgotten completely about it until I heard you tell your stories. My older son was shopping with my mom, and I must have been home with the baby or something, but they had gone to Penny's, and all of a sudden she turned around and she didn't know where he was.
Scariest thing.
And I knew, I would have known because he had done it before with me, that he was hiding in that ring of clothing,
like you said,
not in the lingerie.
Yeah.
I think my mom would have died of embarrassment.
Yeah, I'm like, get out of there.
At Penny's store the week before, another child had gotten separated from mom and gone over. Remember the escalators at Penny's?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And they had got their finger caught, and they'd had a serious injury. I don't remember if they got their finger cut off or what.
Yeah.
But the staff, all of a sudden the word went out, everybody over by the escalators, and they had 6 people out looking for him and guarding the escalators. Here he was, and I knew right away where he would have been. And my mom was walking around calling his name, and she heard him giggle. Oh. And there he was underneath the shirts or something like that.
And you're not in a giggly mood at that moment.
At that point, she was just so thankful that she found him safely, and he wasn't anywhere near the escalators. But, oh my goodness.
And and it's, as parents, it's frightening.
Yes.
But as a grandparent,
I can't imagine what she was going through. It was just would have been, you're like, oh my goodness.
I raised all my children and I lost my grandson.
Yeah.
But I did also have, he had a tantrum at the grocery store.
Oh, did he?
Oh.
And I did have, and I just thought, I had to turn my back because I was laughing. because I had read it, in all the parent advisory
You
magazines.
knew how to handle this.
And I was like, classic, on his back, kicking and screaming over whatever it was. And I thought, oh my gosh, here it is. And I had everything I could do to just not laugh. But I picked him up and I left my cart I wheeled it over
Good
by
for you.
by
So
the
you did
checkout.
leave.
And I said, we're going to wait. We're going to go out to the car. We just went to the car. We didn't go home. And all the cashiers at the store who we went to frequently, so they knew us, and they gave me a thumbs up, and I said, I hope we'll be back. And we went out to the car, and I think he was so stunned. And we sat in the car for a few minutes, and I said, when you're ready, if you're ready, we'll go back into the store and finish shopping. Okay, I'm ready. And we did, and he was fine. And I don't remember at all what he was having the tantrum over, if it was some candy or a toy or whatever. But we went back in the shopping, and he was fine. And the cashiers all complimented him on how well behaved he was.
That's nice.
And
'Cause he got control.
complimented me too. We wish everybody else would do that with their kids. And I was like, I hope I never have to do that again.
Well, that brings up two memories with my oldest son. He was about 4 years old, and we are walking down the sidewalk, and he decides he doesn't want to go any further.
He just drops.
He just drops.
Daycare kids do that.
And I'm looking at him, and I'm going, he says, home. And I'm thinking, no, not quite yet. And I know I had somebody walking next to me too, because I said, well, okay, I'll just leave you here, and when I come back, I'll pick you up. And she's looking at me with horror.
Yeah.
And I started walking away. And she goes, and she kept looking back. I says, don't look back. Don't look back. Yeah. And pretty soon he hollers out, Mom! I go back and get him. Yeah. But there was another time when he was maybe probably about 2 years old, and he didn't want to come in from outside. And so he when we got through the door, he threw himself on the floor, kicking and screaming. I mean, he's on his belly, and he's kicking and he's screaming. And his dad is looking at him like he was going to intervene. And I just threw myself right on the floor, right beside him, and started to kick and scream. He stopped and he looked at me like, and gets up and goes off. I just get up and go about my business. And my husband goes, why did you do that? It worked, didn't it?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. You do what works.
You do what works, and sometimes you don't even know why you did what you did, or that you were actually going to do what you did. You just respond.
Absolutely. It's wonderful. Well, I've told a few stories on my older son. I got to tell a couple on my younger son. And he had, and his, if, like I said, they were very, very different personalities. My older son was, like, oh, let's try this. Sure, jump in. He would jump in the pool when we'd go swimming. Yes, absolutely. My younger son was not about to try anything until he was sure he could do it right the first time. And if we all know, you try something the first time, it almost never goes right. Right. Like my story of doing that graceful somersault in the midair.
A little practice would have helped.
What could go wrong?
Stuff. Yeah, what could go wrong? But he definitely was a bit more of a let's wait and see. We'll try things out first. And so he definitely had a very different personality than his brother. Never had a temper tantrum. Never ran and hid from anybody at the store or anything like that. But one of the things he did, have certain things that he liked to have in a certain way. He, did not like to have he did not like to have his hands dirty when he was eating. So if he was having finger food, he would eat something and like, oh my goodness, my hands got dirty. We'd have to wipe his fingers before he would eat more. So those were little things that he had to have. But another thing he did not like to wear shoes.
No, I didn't either.
Yeah, and I have to admit, when I was a kid, I even would walk barefoot over gravel.
Oh,
Yeah, wear shoes.
absolutely.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. I was always barefoot.
See, and my husband is like, oh man, how could you do that? So, but I don't think people went barefoot over gravel, but he did not like to wear shoes. And it was getting to be the end of summer. And, cold weather comes, and you definitely he would wear socks, but he didn't like to wear shoes. So there was one day, then his brother had gone off to school, and I thought, this kid's going to have to wear shoes pretty soon. So I thought, we're going to go to the park and go on the swings, and maybe I can get him to wear shoes. Well, I put on shoes, and as soon as he got the shoes on, he started to cry. He did not want to wear shoes. I said, well, let's go up to the park. He was not going to walk. So I carried him. We live close to the park, so it was only a block. Carried him up to the park, and he stopped crying as he got close to the park. But as soon as I put him down, I got my so I put him.
Funny to adults.
I know. It's just, I put him in the swing, and as he's swinging, oh, okay, that was all right. Being in the swing, he liked that. But then at one point, his toe dragged a little bit on the dirt underneath it. Oh, I got shoes on. Set him off again. So I finally went, okay, well, we'll just go home. I wasn't going to take those shoes off until we got home. I figured.
I don't blame you. Yeah.
So I was like, I'm going to stick to my guns. So I picked him up and started carrying him. Well, we live not far from a nursing home. And so as we got close to the nursing home, they had one of these garden swings that you could sit on, and just a nice little gentle swing. And as we were going past it, he saw that garden swing, and I said, you want to sit in the swing? Okay, so we sat in the swing a little bit, and that was pretty cool. And we got in, as it was time, I said, maybe you should go home for lunch. So he stood up, and I thought, well, I'm not going to pick him up if he's going to. And he stepped out off the swing onto the sidewalk, and his shoe went flop on the sidewalk.
Oh.
And it was like, well, that was pretty cool.
Oh.
And he put his other shoe down, and it made a flop. And he was like, whoa. Flop, 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 flop. And he was watching his shoes making this flop, 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 flop on the sidewalk, and he flop, 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 flop all the way down the sidewalk.
Sounds like a storybook.
It just makes a good sound. My flop, flop shoes all the way down, and got across the street at home. He didn't. I, make sure that I held his hand so he was going to be safe across the street. But then we sat and stood around the front yard and waited for the bus to bring his brother home from school. And he was okay with having shoes on. It was like, okay, my shoes are pretty cool. They make flop sounds on the sidewalk. And so came in for lunch, and he had, kept the shoes on. I thought, he's going down for a nap. I am not taking those shoes off. They're keeping those shoes on all day long. And he was about the stage where he was probably about 2.5 or so. Wasn't talking a lot. He was just on that verge of, barely the right amount of words to say for that age. And so I laid him down for his nap and kept the shoes on him when he woke up, kept the shoes on him all day long. That evening it was bath time. And finally I took the shoes off and the socks off, and he was so excited to get his shoes off and his socks off, and he looked down and he went, oh, hi, toes. And I thought, hooray, we've got a 2-word sentence to add to his vocabulary. Most kids' first 2-word sentence is hi, daddy, or bye, mama, or something like that.
Toes.
His was hi, toes.
Yeah.
And a few weeks later, we went to the doctor's for his 2.5-year checkup. And I was telling him, I said, he's got just barely like 11 words in his vocabulary. And he said, does he have a 2-word sentence? And I went, Yeah. Do I have to tell you what it is? And he went, oh, you do now. So I said, well, it's high toes. He says, okay, you got to tell me that. So we did. Yeah. And then he said, well, okay, that's an unusual one. I've never heard that before. But he said he meets the minimum for this age. So he said, don't worry about his language. Give him 6 months, and when he's 3, come back in for his 3-year-old checkup, and we'll check his vocabulary then. And if he needs a referral for language, we'll do it then.
Yeah.
Well, at age 3, he had learned a lot of those dinosaur names from his brother, including the name of one that looked a lot like a bird. And we had just gone down to the Milwaukee Public Museum and had seen one of their actual dinosaur skeletons for the Archaeopteryx. And he was so fascinated with that one. And they had a picture of a bird on the vocabulary sheet for the 3-year-olds. And there was a man and a woman, and he called them mommy and daddy, and there was a house and a bicycle. And there was this bird. Most kids say bird. He looked at it because it looked in the same pose as this Archaeopteryx. And he went, Archaeopteryx. And the doctor said, was this the kid we were going to do the language assessment on? I think he's passed.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But I have one more thing to say, and this was not really about my kids, but about my development as a mom.
Oh, yeah.
And that is, and probably you've had the same experience, and I don't even remember what it was that I said, but at some point, talking to my kids about something, all of a sudden, my mother was there. I said something, and I looked around instinctively to look to see, where's my mom? She was just here. I heard the words that she said.
That you never thought you'd say.
Yeah, that I never thought I would say, and they came out of my mouth.
Yeah.
And it was like, I never thought I'd say that.
It's kind of scary, isn't it?
It really was. And later that day, I called her up and I said, Mom, it happened. Those words came right out of my mouth.
It happened.
You were here, right in the room, right with me.
I did that because I said so a couple times. I'm like, I never was going to do that because I didn't like that.
That might have been what I said, too.
Yeah.
But, so I learned from my mom as well as from my kids.
Yeah. Oh, I think we all did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I have just a couple brief things
Go ahead.
that I thought. Bethany with the shoes, my daughter, had to have shoes on all the time, plus carry an extra around with her. So everywhere she'd go, she wasn't even 2, she'd have her little little spare pair of shoes.
I can see that in her. I can.
And Ethan, a temper tantrum. He didn't throw many, but we were somewhere. We were with my mom, and I told him no to a Ninja Turtle.
Oh.
And he was 4 maybe, and screamed. His little veins in his neck were popping out. And my mom's like, oh my God, sure, I never saw him. I said, just don't look at him. And then I went back to get it because we tried to walk away, but I had to get him. And then I was kind of laughing, kind of embarrassed laughing. Don't laugh at me. I'm like, I'm sorry.
I got one. Oh my Lord. Phil again. Oh my God. We were at an overlook pass, and they have those steel bars. Mm-hmm. Well, we're all standing there looking out over this beautiful lake and the scenery. And there's Phil. He wanted to see it too, but he stuck his head between the bars and was looking down like this. And he got stuck.
Oh, no.
Now, it's my brother, his best friend, and they're big, strong guys. And there's my husband, a little thinner, but they couldn't get him out.
Oh, and there he is panicking, I imagine.
And there's me laughing.
Get some Vaseline.
Yeah. We're in the middle of nowhere. Yeah. I mean, come on. So I heard him say, Don't laugh at me. But we were just about ready to have to call for assistance.
Help.
But they managed just at that last minute, just so Gary could wedge his little ears back.
Sure.
Oh,
Because that's
God.
the problem, is
Poor
your ears.
kid.
It's the ears. We talk about that still.
Oh my.
Yeah.
I was afraid you were going to say he climbed over the bars.
Because that's what
God.
my middle one
That's
would have.
what-
He would have been hanging over the top.
Yeah, and
Trevor.
for Phil, there wasn't anything for him to grab to get that leg over. But he
goodness.
just wanted to look down. And I'm thinking, he's right here beside me. He's safe.
He's in a stanchion.
He's
for-
there he is, got his head in a stanchion.
Well, he's not going anywhere.
God.
Time to go to the bathroom.
Oh God. Yeah, we all laugh about that to this
my
day.
gosh. I have one more about my middle one.
Okay.
Were you done? I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
It's okay.
He was always friendly. He's always talking. And we were going through the mall. He was little, 2 years old probably.
Oh.
And and Mark was holding him, my husband. And hi, everyone would be, oh, hi. Everyone's hi. And then Santa was way over whatever. Hey, Santa, hi. And, and then this guy goes rushing past him, a younger guy. And hi. And then my husband goes, he's a not talking guy. And Trevor goes, hey, not talking guy, I said hi. And he stops and he turns around and said, well, he did. I'm like, how dare you not say hi to my cute little kid? But anyway, that was just one of my favorite stories.
That is good. That is
He
very
will
good.
not be ignored.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
Okay, so I have a question.
Yes.
We were talking about our growing up and being free range children.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say that we did the same for our children?
To a degree, yeah.
To a degree. We lived in the country. So
Yeah.
I tried to let them, we had big trees, and I tried to let them climb trees, and I'm like, I'm so nervous. And Trevor would say things like, God's telling me which branches or which rocks to step on, and I'd be like, okay, I won't argue with that. But he'd be way up there, and I'd be like, okay, don't do it. The kids are supposed to climb trees. But it was hard to let go.
Yeah.
Both of my kids well, my older one especially had a healthy sense of adventure, but also a healthy fear of high places.
Yeah.
So,
Trevor never did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say. I remember
But he was
when-
agile. He could climb.
And my kids, they were walking by the time they were 9 months old.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we were all like, oh my God, he's already 9 months old and he's walking.
That's not a good thing.
This is not a good thing. But my oldest one, he loved the outdoors.
Yeah.
You couldn't keep him inside. It is 20 below zero, and he's bundled up, and he's trying to slide down the sledding hill that has been frozen over.
Ooh.
And I'm like, dude, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You're going to cut yourself to ribbons, and I can't afford to buy you a new coat. But yeah, he was always out doing adventurous things. It was really hard to keep him. He was trying to snowboard before there were snowboards.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
See, and my kids were interested in different types of adventures. My oldest son wanted to make movies.
Oh.
And so a friend's family had one of those camcorders that you had to hold on your shoulder, and they made Sleepless in Sheboygan.
Oh, really?
They did. They made a version. Yeah, they did. They had one summer was the summer of movies, and they made between the neighbor's house and our house, they made half a dozen or so movies. They made a commercial. You remember the commercial of I think it was Larry Bird and I want to say Michael Jordan, where they did different basketball shots that got increasingly crazier, and then the last thing was nothing but net.
Okay.
They did that with our basketball hoop. In fact, they did crazy thing over the garage, out out the window. One of the shots was off Pete's head. And then the last thing was through our basketball hoop was nothing but net. And they, it was out off the porch around the house and
you
stuff.
allowed them time to just be creative.
Very creative things. They did a lot of stuff that year. I think that was the year that John Paul, the older one, was either going into high school or maybe between freshman and sophomore year. And Pete was just thrilled to be included with the older guys. And he was the more competitive of the two because he wanted to be with the big guys.
Yeah.
And it helped him. He learned how to shoot a 3-pointer because he couldn't even get close to the basket.
Yeah.
He had to shoot a basket from far range, and he ended up learning how to shoot threes.
See?
Wow.
There you go.
But they had, and he would, sure, shoot it off my head. That's fine. So they did things like that, and they made a like a clubhouse in the neighbor's backyard.
Our kids did that too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we did actually build a tree house. Actually, it's still standing in our old house down in Platteville. But yeah, it's not in a tree. But it's a fort, and we had it in a fort, and underneath we had a big sandbox down there. So, they loved that. And I know the neighbors. Aren't you afraid they're gonna fall? Oh God!
You can't be afraid. I mean,
life happens. I could get out of bed and hit my head on the stand. I did not bubble wrap my children.
I didn't either.
I wanted to.
Yeah,
I wanted
in a lot of ways.
A couple of times. We had a swing set and for a while we had one of those dome climbers. In the backyard, and we had a little. My husband loves trains, so we had a little ride-on thing. A couple of kids could ride on it, and we had another thing where it was like Tinker Toys, but they were huge.
Oh, sure.
So they could put some things together.
Does anybody remember Tinker Toys?
Yeah.
And are they still even available? Because that thing could probably poke somebody in the eye.
That's true.
Poke your eye out.
That's true. I will say, working in daycare though, I don't like the rhythm sticks. Oh my gosh. You can't, the rhythm sticks are always weapons.
As a former music teacher, yes, I remember the rhythm sticks.
Yes, it's like, no, I'm taking those out.
But at home.
Right.
But at home.
We do have Tinker Toys. Evans is good for that stuff.
Oh, that's right. Good old Evans. A plug-in for Evans.
Yes. But people, I don't know if people are giving their children the freedom that we did or we had. I don't know. I was just reading something this morning. I hope I can quick add this about how free or adventure playgrounds are really important because modern playgrounds are so designed to eliminate all risk.
This piece of equipment is for this activity
only. Yes, and walking up a slide is a great skill for kids.
It really is.
And we're constantly in daycare going, we go down the slide, up the ladder, down this, and I get so tired of it. Sometimes when the other teachers aren't looking, I'm like, just go up the slide.
Yeah.
You can do that. You can do that. I would tell my students at school, you can go up the slide at your house, but not at school because there's somebody coming down and they're going to take you out.
They're going to take you out.
And they don't understand.
That concept. Yeah. But see, that's where they're learning.
Right.
Is when we take away those challenges, they don't learn these concepts.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So,
this article was saying that it was saying as soon as and again you have to look out for safety, especially in daycare, but they use things the right way, and then all of a sudden they're hanging off the side of the slide. They're challenging themselves because they're bored with this already. And if you have trees and things like that and ropes, they make their own play.
But it also helps develop that brain, the right and left side of the brain.
Exactly.
I remember a couple of years ago at a client's house, she was complaining that her stepchildren, they were teenagers, they would come down the stairwell with their hands on the wall, going down like this. And she goes, can't they just walk down the...
No, they can't.
And I'm thinking...
And I did our hands and feet on the wall.
Yes, yes. And I looked at her and I said, that's how the brain hemispheres
really
are
developing.
Developing. And, but everything was neat and tidy for her. So that was, and she didn't have children of her own. So, but even as teenagers,
there's a purpose why kids do things.
It's, and I remember doing it, and I still do it sometimes.
Yeah.
But I love that motion.
Hands and feet?
Do you do that now?
Not the feet, no. But sometimes it's just fun feeling that
Proprioceptors, different
There was
things.
one part of our stairs that go down. I would find handprints on this one spot above one of the last steps, and it's like, yeah, we did that too.
Yeah,
So I
or you
wiped
jump
them.
to reach something above you. Yep.
I didn't jump well.
I used to. My mom would have her routine in the bathroom with her makeup, and I'd be talking to her, and I was a teenager, and I would squish myself in the door frame so that I was up in the air with my feet, my front feet on the this frame, and my back on the back, and I just sit there. She's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I don't know. This is fun."
Was feats of strength.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
you did it because you could.
Yes, and I don't think I could do that. I'd probably slide.
Yeah, we have more fat than we have muscle now.
And it was nothing. But anyway, I think any more stories?
I don't think so.
I've got a lot, but
we've
we don't
got
have
a lot,
time
but
for 'em.
Yeah, and
we'll save them
actually,
for another time.
we also do have a new piece of equipment
Yes.
that we have.
Oh, yes.
Sherry got tired of us hiding her spray bottle.
Yeah, I'm not sure
So
where it is.
she brought something for us to do today. So we're not doing spray sunshine. We're doing
Toot your horn.
toot your horn.
Oh, I went upside down. So there we go.
You would have to be the one that would be different.
I didn't even mean it that time. But I am. But anyway, so.
Thanks for watching. And please, please, please share this video. Subscribe if you haven't. And like us. I don't know if we have a hype button on our videos. I've heard other people say, and be sure to hype this.
Oh,
I don't know if we don't know what that is.
I
so
don't.
if anybody out there knows what that is, please leave it in the comments.
Yes.
And if you have a story,
gosh,
we just
yes.
want to hear.
we do.
Oh,
Definitely,
please share.
Yes.
Oh, there's so many funny stories of kids.
Definitely. And definitely share your stories and like us, love us, share it, the video, and comment, and all the other things I've already
And
said.
have a great week.
Have a great week.
Yes, thanks. Oh, and please, this is our 25th video.
Isn't that great?
Yes.
Yes.
Woo! Yay. So thanks again for
toot your
watching.
horn.
Toot your horn.
Mine goes straight up. It's kind of like a wee.
Oh, another blooper.
That was 49.
Oh my.
We're all beads on one string. Every man, every woman, boy and girl. Beads on one string. We're one world. I touch, you touch. We feel so much. We hurt and we heal. We know love is real. You dream, well I dream. We plan, sometimes scheme. Oh, how we love to eat. And everyone has to sleep, 'cause we're all beads on one string. Every man, every woman, boy and girl. Beads on one string, we're one